first. So let's just first of all settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Both feet flat on the floor, shoulders aligned with the hips. And as I learned yesterday, you can also think about aligning your ribs with your hips as well. So if you're not used to working with your body, if you're not sort of doing a lot of movement or dance or yoga or Feldenkrais or something like this, I know some of you doing this are doing Tai Chi with a master there. Then don't worry, but just imagine shoulders aligned with the hips, and then ears align with your shoulders as best you can. You have your hands resting comfortably in the meditation mudra, or just resting on your lap. And imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light that stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just putting some space in between your vertebrae. And notice the breath sensations. And then go to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw, back of the tongue, the temples, back of the head, the neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. So, we take a little minute to do this before our meditations. But it's almost like you need to kind of soften somehow before we enter the prayers, rather than just, banging straight into them. Excuse me. And then be aware of the sounds in your environment. So just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to follow with the mind. My mind is wandering up and down the road because I know there's a lot of water out there. So for me, this morning, I keep trying to bring myself back here. Then be aware of the thoughts that are arising in your mind this morning. Maybe you have plans for today. But just bring them back. Maybe you have emails to get to. Just bring your mind back. Be aware. And some space in between the thoughts. This is a very, very short, very small, precious time in your day. It's a time where you can nurture yourself. So be curious about what's in there. Bring to mind all the people of our life, our loved ones, precious friends, spouses, children, siblings, parents. And then there's people in our life we don't like terribly much, and then there's all of our strangers. Imagine they're all, due to this idea of impermanence, It's actually not an idea. It's a thing. And these relationships are interchangeable. They can shift and change. And regardless of how we feel about any one particular person at any one time, you probably experienced it. The relationships change. The friend, the enemy, and the stranger can be and potentially are interchangeable. And they're all equal. They wish to be happy. They wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddha mind. So you don't have to do the kind of settling of your meditation for so long. You can do it in like a minute. But just to kind of bring yourself, settle yourself down, have some idea of why you're doing the meditation. So then we'll just recite this first little prayer. This is one that His Holiness loves us very much. Just think we'll do this little practice this morning for all these people of our life, all sentient beings. Because as we move around our day today, after we've blessed our speech, every sentient being that we come in contact will benefit. So think like that. It's amazing. It's such a tiny, tiny thing that we're doing here, and it has so much benefit. Doesn't take much time. And then, of course, ourselves, we're doing it for ourselves as we move along our spiritual path. So we'll just do this verse 55. As long as space remains, as long as transmigratory beings remain, until then may I too remain, to dispel the suffering of transmigratory beings. So I love this little bit here too. Gampopa Milarepa's heart disciple said, after waking from sleep and before you get out of bed, think, today I am going to use my body, speech, and mind in virtue for sentient beings. It's so important to generate this precious thought of bodhicitta, the ultimate good heart. Whatever you do that day is then done with bodhicitta. So everything then becomes virtue and the cause of enlightenment. If your motivation is wrong, then everything becomes negative karma and a cause of the evil gone realms. And when you go to sleep at night, dedicate all your actions of body, speech, and mind for sentient beings. This is extremely important. It is said that without difficulties, this becomes the path to Dharmakaya. Okay. All right. Blessing our speech. According to the instructions of great Yogi Kyungpo, taking refuge in bodhicitta, I take refuge in the three rare sublime ones. May I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. I take refuge in the three rare sublime ones. May I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. I take refuge in the three rare sublime ones. May I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. So here's where we do our little light meditation. So purify the truly existent I in emptiness. Then your wisdom, realizing emptiness, which is non-dual with bliss, manifests as a deity. So you only do this if you've actually received an initiation. So everybody can benefit from doing this light meditation. So I'll do it fairly quickly. So imagine upon the crown of your head, about an inch above the crown of your head, slightly smaller than the crown of your head, is a ball of light, blissful, radiant, white light. And this light is transparent, brilliant, radiant. If you can't really see it in your mind's eye, that's okay. It's just enough to know that it's there. And just imagine this light just contains all the goodness and energy, the sweetness, the compassion, the enlightened energy of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all the wisdom in the universe, right there above the crown of your head. And now imagine this ball of light starts to slowly get a little bit smaller and smaller until it comes to about an inch in diameter. And it just kind of dissolves into you through the crown of your head, comes down to your heart chakra and settles there. So imagine this beautiful enlightened energy at your heart now. Now imagine it begins to expand again. And as it does so, all the solid parts of your body start to dissolve. Your organs, your bones, and the blood, the cells, the fascia, ligaments, tendons, muscles, your nails, skin, hair, all become light, even your eyelashes. Blissful, radiant, white light. So just meditate on your body as a body of light. And should a distracting thought arise, a sound, just dissolve it into light. Okay. So now imagine on your tongue a syllable R, A-H, standing upright. And it sort of transforms itself into a moon, sort of a flat disc on your tongue. So imagine this white moon disc on your tongue. And then on top of that appears a white syllable, Om, O-M. And around it are white Sanskrit vowels. They're standing and they're moving clockwise. You would read them clockwise. So, we don't all know those Sanskrit vowels. So just imagine a beautiful ring of light, of holy Sanskrit mantra. That's enough. Moving in a clockwise direction. And then next, on the outside of that, red Sanskrit consonants standing counterclockwise. So you imagine this red light on your tongue moving counterclockwise. And then the blue heart mantra of dependent relation standing clockwise. So now blue light moving in a clockwise direction. And so now, it's quite busy on the tongue there. Now you imagine light beams radiating from the syllable Om and those mantra garlands, the white, the red, and the blue, and they radiate out and they hook back the blessings and the power of the speech of those beyond and not beyond the world in the form of the three mantras, the seven sublime precious objects of a king's reign, the 8 auspicious signs, and the 8 auspicious substances. So, all the holy things, all the magical things. So we're talking about the Buddhas, the Arya Bodhisattvas, the Arahats, the yogis who are accomplishing the path, and they're the ones who are not beyond the world. The sages who've actualized the words of truth. and due to the power of abiding in silence and living in the morality of abstaining from negative karmas of speech, the words of these sages have so much power. And so whatever they pray for, it is successful. So all their blessings and power of speech are hooked back in the form of the 3 mantras, the 7 precious objects of a king's reign, the 8 auspicious signs, and the 8 auspicious substances, and they fill the whole sky. And all of this absorbs into the mantras on the moon disk, on your tongue, like rain falling on the ocean. So now we'll bless the speech. And so my suggestion is we use the common pronunciation. So imagine as you're blessing the speech, as we're reciting these Sanskrit vowels, imagine white nectar beams flow down from the mantra and they fill your whole body. And all the negative karmas collected with your body from beginningless rebirths are completely purified. Om, a, I, u, ri, ri, li, e, o, ang, swaha. Om, a, I, u, ri, li, e, o, ang, swaha. Om, a, I, u, ri, li, e, o, ang, swaha. And then we do the Sanskrit consonants, so Kali. So as you recite the consonants, red nectar beams flow down from the mantra and fill your whole body, and all negative karmas collected with your speech from beginningless rebirths are completely purified. So we'll do the common pronunciation here. Om, ka, nya, sat, gya, na, ta, na, ta, na, pa, ma, yara, lawa, shaka, sa, ha, kya, swaha. Om, ka, nya, sat, gya, na, ta, na, ta, na, pa, ma, yara, lawa, shaka, sa, ha, kya, swaha. Om, ka, nya, sat, gya, na, ta, na, ta, na, pa, ma, yara, lawa, shaka, sa, ha, kya, swaha. And now the mantra of dependent relation. So if you imagine you're reciting the mantra and imagine blue nectar beams flowing down from the mantra and they fill your whole body, and all the negative karmas collected with your mind from beginningless rebirths are completely purified. Om ye dharma hetu pabava hetun tekan teshin tatagato hayavadat teshin shayo nirada evam vadi mahashramaniya svaha. Sorry, I was doing the wrong one. Bottom. Om ye dharma hetu pabava hetu tekan tatagato hayavadat tekan sayo nirada evam vadi mahashramaniya svaha. Om ye dharma hetu pabava hetu tekan tatagato hayavadat tekan sayo Nirada Evan Vadi Mahashramana Svaha. So Rinpoche says you must pause after the yo before reciting ni. Nirada. Okay. Absorption of the mantras. So the heart mantra of dependent relation absorbs into the consonants. So you can just close your eyes and imagine this. So that's the blue one on the outside. Just absorbs into the consonants, the red ones, the red ring. And the red ring absorbs into the vowels into the syllable om, and the om into the moon cushion, and that transforms into a syllable ah. And the ah melts into pink nectar and absorbs into your tongue, and your tongue becomes the nature of a vajra. So your tongue becomes heavy and strong, as if difficult to move, as indestructible as a vajra. Generate very strong faith that all the blessings and the power of the speech of all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Arhats, yogis, and sages have entered your speech and made it perfect. And think, my speech has become perfect. So the benefits of doing this practice are: 1, the power of your speech becomes perfect. 2, whatever you recite is multiplied 10 million times. So it's the same on these holy days. Anything you recite is multiplied. I don't know the exact number, but you can think, if this is just multiplied 10 million times, and then 10 million by however million trillion benefits on today's practice, on today, on this holy day today. So the power of your speech is not taken away by wrong foods. So for those of you who've taken precepts this morning, there would have been certain foods that you're advised not to eat. So if you accidentally eat something's in food that you didn't realize, then the power of your speech isn't taken away by those wrong foods. And gossiping becomes the recitation of mantra. Then we dedicate. May my tongue sense have all the courage of the ones gone to bliss by the magnificent power of my words. May all sentient beings be subdued, and may all the meanings of whatever words I say be accomplished. And so we've got a little bit of time here. We have 5 minutes. So let's just bless our rosary, our mala. So it says, recite the mantra 7 times and then blow on the rosary, and all the recitations you do of the secret mantras taught by the Tathagata are multiplied 100 sextillion times, 10 to the 23rd. That's a lot of things. That's a lot of times. Anyway, this is taught in the Unfathomable Mansion of Increasing Jewels. Om Rachira Mani Prabharatayo Hum, 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 Om Rachira Mani Prabharatayo Hum. So then you can just kind of use your beautifully blessed speech, and now the mantra, you blow it into your mala, and imagine it gets infused into your mala. So then we have the mantra to multiply virtue. So if you recite this mantra 7 times, any virtuous activity you do is multiplied by 100,000. And this is taught in the Sutra of the Wheel of Complete Dedication. Om Sambara Sambara Vimanasara Mahajava Hum. Om Smara Smara Vimanaskara Mahajava Hum. Om Sambara Sambara Vimanasara Mahajava Hum. Om Smara Smara Vimanaskara Mahajava Hum. Om Sambara Sambara Vimanasara Mahajava Hum. Om Smara Smara Vimanaskara Mahajava Hum. Om Sambara Sambara Vimanasara Mahajava Hum. Om Smara Smara Vimanaskara Mahajava Hum. Om Sambara Sambara Vimanasara Mahajava Hum. Om Smara Smara Samara Vimanaskara Mahajava Hum. Om Sambara Sambara Vimanaskara Mahajava Hum. Om Smara Smara Vimanaskara Mahajava Hum. Om Sambara Sambara Vimanaskara Mahajava Hum. Om Smara Smara Vimanaskara Mahajava Hum. So we'll do the Exalted Stainless Beam Totally Pure Light Mantra. Now, Lama Zopa Rinpoche loved this one. I think he thought that, he said there was many, I don't know, will I say magical benefits from doing this mantra? Anyway, Rinpoche said it's very, very precious. And so I'll read why below. Nama nawa nawa tinan tatakata ganganam divalukanan koti ni utashata sashranan ombambari tsari ni tsari mari golisala wari svaha. So the ni, I think you're supposed to raise your voice a little. Nama nawa nawa tinan tatakata ganganam divalukanan koti ni utashata sashranan ombambari tsari ni tsari mari golisala wari svaha. Nama nawa nawa tinan tatakata ganganam divalukanan koti ni yutashat shata sashranan ombabari tsari ni tsari mari galasala waris faha. Nama nawa nawa tinan tatakata ganganam divalukanan koti ni yutashata sashranan ombabari tsari ni tsari mari galasala waris faha. Nama nawa nawa tinan tatakata ganganam divalukanan koti ni yutashat sashranan Omba borit sari neat sari mari gala sala wari svaha. Nama nawa nawa tinan tatakata ganganam divalukanan koti neert shata sashra nan. Omba borit sari neat sari mari gala sala wari svaha. Nama nawa nawa tinan tatakata ganganam divalukanan koti neert shata sashra nan. Omba borit sari neat sari mari gala sala wari svaha. So Rinpoche says, talking to a person who's recited this mantra purifies even the 5 heavy negative karmas without break. Just hearing the voice of a person who has recited this mantra being touched by their shadow or touching their body purifies negative karmas collected in this and past lives. If you recite this mantra, you won't be harmed by poison, spirits, lightning, and so forth. I love that. All the Buddhas will protect you. Chenrezig will look after you, and all the devas and those who are living in Samaya will support you. You won't be harmed by black magic mantras, rituals, and substances. If this mantra is put inside a stupa, the negative karmas of anyone who sees the stupa, hears of it, touches it, or is touched by earth, dust, or wind that has touched it are purified. They won't be reborn in the lower realms and instead will be born as happy transmigratory beings. So there we go. So let's stop here and dedicate all the positive energy we've created this morning doing these really extraordinary mantras, and just imagine that your speech has been purified. And I will see you all this afternoon. We're going to do Guru Puja, and there's a message here. Aunt Sue. Oh, okay. Dedication for Aunt Sue. Is Aunt Sue the female elk? 2 wandering dogs harassing female elk and others. Many thanks. Okay. And for your sister's dog, Pepper, Lorraine. All right. Lots of love, everybody. Happy love of Duchin. Do lots of holy things today. Okay. See you this afternoon. Bye. Thank you.